So everybody's holding their breath. Everybody's like on pins and needles on the edge of their seats. They're just waiting to see what this last play is going to be. And we call a simple run play. And we give it to Fred and he just runs left. But there's tons of defenders over there waiting for him. So Fred breaks back to the other side of the field, runs in, touchdown, we win the game. Everybody starts to lose their damn mind. We lose it. Everybody runs to the field, and I mean everybody. Parents, kids, students, you name it. Everybody's rushing to the field. We're all excited, and everybody's rushing to see Fred. Everybody just wants to walk up to him, talk to him about what he did, just touch him, just to say, man, great job, ask him some questions, just to celebrate with the guy, right? And I notice while I'm running out of the bleachers myself, because if you remember correctly, I was on the B team. As I'm running out the bleachers, I notice that he has a big smile on his face. But it's not one of those smiles like, I'm excited we won, I want to embrace everything that comes with winning. It was one of those, please give me some space because I'm kind of uncomfortable laughs, giggles, and smiles. So I knew something was up. Like he wasn't comfortable with it. Now mind you, at this point there's 50 to 100, if not more people that are around him. They're literally trying to lift him up. Like this just isn't his style. And he's doing everything he can to stay nice, to stay professional, to greet everybody, but still kind of back away from everything that's going on. So he slowly starts to walk under the bleachers. And I notice the team is walking towards the field house. Fred's going the opposite direction. He's going under the bleachers. And as he continues going under the bleachers, he loses more and more and more of the fans that were trying to spend time with him. I look one last time, he disappears. You give me 10 more minutes, I guarantee this story will make tons of sense for you. You don't want to miss it. My name's Lorenzo. Welcome to Handles. Everyone has a grip on life. Everybody feels like they have a handle. Afraid to share the mistakes. The stories are what connect us. They are the key. We're running out of time. So at this point in my life, I'm in middle school. And one thing we really enjoy doing, especially being from Texas, is playing football. But not just any football. We used to like playing football in the street. And it didn't matter if we had a real football or not. We would play with one of those small Nerf footballs. You know, the ones that have the emblems of NFL teams on the side that you could squeeze but throw like a million miles. Yeah, even those. We would play out there with those. But we would all meet at a certain street to play football in the street. We enjoyed playing street football so much that we would literally be out there until the street lights were no longer comfortable with us being there. Like, I mean, it would be dark. We would have parents coming to grab us one by one. I mean, at that point, it got a little uncomfortable, but we just enjoyed the competition. And the thing we enjoyed the most is doing anything but losing. You cannot lose. Otherwise, you would hear it for the rest of the week at school. You could not lose. You had to do anything you could to win that football street game. Didn't matter how you did it, but you got to win. And we would call every little penalty you can imagine. The curb is out of bounds. Your knee can't touch the tree. You can't tag a person. You have to two-hand tug them. I mean, there's so many different things you'd have to do to win. But we would just go along with it. It became organic after a while. Well, there was one player that everybody always wanted on their team. And let me give you a secret, it wasn't me. We'll call this player Fred. And Fred had it all. Now let me describe Fred to you. Fred was a very easygoing, relaxed, don't necessarily want to be at the parties, but if I am, I'd rather be a wallflower. He had a smooth demeanor to him, very shy, didn't ask a lot of questions, had a fantastic smile, but he was all about athletics. That's Fred. Everybody wanted Fred on their team because they knew that Fred not only could just do everything, but he was smart enough and he was a team player. Easy to get along with. Never asked a lot of questions, man. Fred just gets the shit done. No matter when we played, he always did something that like astonished us. Whether it was a pass he caught, or a pass he threw, sprinting past people, tackling an individual, he just always shocked us. Like, we couldn't figure out how he was so talented in this area, right? How he was able to do so much. And he did it naturally. It was just natural talent that Fred had. But most of our games would always go down to the wire. And I told you earlier, losing was unacceptable. Now, the good thing about playing football on the street, as some of you already know, is that you can normally transfer that to the field and do organized football. And that's what we did. The majority of the players that would come out to the street to play, they also played on the middle school team, Fred being one of them. Now, I also played, and I was a running back, and so was Fred. So needless to say, I don't need to tell you that I was on the B team. And just in case you don't know what that is, in middle school, a lot of times you have an A team, which means they're the better players, and the B team, which means we're still trying to figure out if they're going to make it in this sport. I was one of them. So of course, having the talent that we had in middle school, and of course having our secret weapon as Fred being on the team, we landed on the district championship game. And it gets down to the last play. And at this point in the game, Fred has been ripping and shredding the defense apart, just running through them. Fred ran with a aggression, a tilt, a speed, a temerity that I've never seen in my life. And he just naturally did it. If you saw him coming, you knew he was about business. There's no way you wanted to stop this guy. You literally wanted to give him the grass to continue running. That's how he ran the football. Just amazing to see. And everybody that would normally come to the games that would be in the stands would also say the same things. They would be astonished. But we, after a while, weren't shocked anymore because he was doing it in the streets every weekend. So we knew exactly what kind of talent he had. So this particular game comes down to the last play. We're like at the 15-yard line. We can get into the end zone with one more play, but there's only like 5 seconds left. And they call a running play. Wait a minute. You should be caught up to this point. Well, a few days later, we head out to the street, right? It's Saturday. You know what that means. Street football. So we head out there. The majority of the normal players are there, including Fred. So I walk up to him and I say, Fred, man, awesome game the other day. I was going to tell you that, man, but you disappeared. And he's like, yeah, you know, I just need a little bit of space type of thing. So I didn't think anything of it, right? Especially being at that age, you don't ask any extra questions. It just was what it was. So we had our usual game in the street as normal. He did his usual miraculous, wonderstruck type of things, and we normally just watched him do it, and we're just amazed, in awe, speechless, if you will. So you can imagine having that kind of talent on one team, actually two teams, if you're considering my B team. Having that kind of talent in middle school, we were eager to get to high school to show all the other neighboring middle schools what kind of talent we brought to the table. So the first day of high school, we're excited. We're pumping our chests about where we came from, what school we came from, and how we're going to be able to add to this high school team. And I'm looking around, I'm seeing all the cats that I know from middle school. I'm seeing everybody, and one person's missing. Fred. Well, that's our secret weapon. I mean, if anything, Fred's going to be the best player on this team. No doubt about it. This guy's going to take us to another championship in a high school perspective. This guy's going to be amazing. So we get excused and we get a chance to go to lunch. And of course, at lunch, we all find Fred. We sit down with him at the table and say, bro, where have you been? Did you not see the meeting that, hey, look, everybody that wants to play football needs to be in the gymnasium at such and such time? And he was like, yeah, I saw it, you know, but I didn't really want to go out and try out or anything because I'm not as good as those guys. I'm not as good as you guys are. So we're looking around like, what the hell is he talking about? So one of my other partners says, Fred, what do you mean you're not as good as the rest of us are out there? You're better than we are. He's like, no, I've slowed down a lot, and you know, I just can't cut like I used to. My hands don't work the same way. It's just, I just don't feel comfortable doing it anymore. You know, you guys would be better playing. Well, that didn't make sense to me. So we thought maybe Fred needed some time, right? And don't get me wrong, even the high school coaches knew about this guy. They knew he was coming to school this year. They knew that he was going to bring tons of talent with him. They knew that he was the man. So they would literally go and talk to Fred every day at school. You can see him in the hallway, sitting there, throwing their best pitches at the man and say, please come out to practice. Come out to try out. You have no idea what you can do to this team. You have no idea just the camaraderie that you can bring and how you can help this team grow. And every time Fred had an excuse, and he was able to share it very freely, just openly. Well, you know, my leg's been bothering me and I haven't been able to do ABCD. My parents are having some issues and I'm trying to help them out at home. I've been lightheaded and struggling in school in different ways. I started to understand that Fred was eager to share all the excuses as to why he could not come out and add value to this football team. And we knew they were excuses. We grew up with the guy. I know these excuses. I know what kind of talent he has. Hell, we played on the weekend for years. I know what kind of drastic change this guy can make when it comes to being on a team. I know what it's like to follow this guy into a football perspective. But no matter how much communication, how much pleading, how much begging in a sense, the coaches and us as players did, Fred wanted no part of it. He wanted zero part of being on a team that he could add tons of value to. And still to this day, it throws me off. But I do have a theory. You see, I think that day at the middle school championship game, I think I just missed it. And it hit me as I got older. Because I ran into a lot of other Freds in my life that were fantastic with their skills, with their overall natural talent, or just their passion to do something. You see, I think a lot of us are afraid to lose. Naturally, we know that losing is not good. So we are afraid to lose. But some of us are even more terrified to win. Because we know that it's easier to explain the excuses as to why we didn't do something compared to sharing the success stories as to how I was able to complete something. So as crazy as it sounds, we're afraid to lose, but we're terrified to win. We want no part of it. You see, I think the majority of us are comfortable being in the pack. We're comfortable being with everybody else that's average. Because we can hide ourselves. We can lean on their excuses. We don't have to go so much against the grain to show what excellence means. As a matter of fact, we would rather stay obscured on a mainland of average individuals than stand alone on an island of excellence. We want no part of it. We say we do all the time, but we truly want no part of it. The pressure of excellence and winning is too much for some of us to handle. So we spend the rest of our lives building this culture of embracing what average feels like. So my ask is very simple this week. Start learning how to embrace the pressure that comes with your acquired skills, your amazing talents, even the passion that you bring for what you do. The mainland of average does not need any more volunteers. We've got enough. Thanks for hanging with me on another episode of Handles. I hope it added value. If so, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and of course share this information with the individuals you know need to hear it. With that said, don't forget to hit that thumbs up so you're able to get any type of new updates that take place on a weekly basis. You want more handles? You can follow me on social media, or you can go directly to my website, which is at the bottom of the screen. Thanks again for your time, your feedback, and your support. I'll catch you guys next time, right here on Handles.